And good afternoon, good evening, and good night, and welcome to today's episode of the Law News and Laughter podcast, an Aussie Overlaw'd reviews episode. So guys, what we're going to be doing today is we are going to be reviewing the Unbroken Kathleen Folbigg story from Spotlight Channel 7. I was planning on doing a few other things today. Unfortunately, I sort of forced my hand because apparently in 3 days they're deleting the video in the first place. So thought maybe we should get it done, given that I'd been planning to do it for like the last month or so, given that, there's been some fairly big developments in her case, including a complete acquittal in December, so it was pretty, I thought it might be important. Now, for those of you watching on YouTube, I will be switching to Rumble exclusively after we go through the details of the case. No, there is no poll right at the second, Guy fan number one. Sorry. I'll probably do something like that at some point, but I mean, it's not really going to, it says quitted in the description, not acquitted. Damn it! Thank you. Where are we? Damn it. Acquitted. There we go. Thank you. Alright, so let's get stuck into it. Welcome to today's episode of Law, News, and Laughter. Oh, good, I'm right there. Couldn't see myself. I had my notes directly in front of myself. So, once dubbed Australia's worst female serial killer, Kathleen Folbigg lost her 4 children, Caleb, Patrick, Sarah, and Laura, as infants between 1999 and 1989. Wait, scratch that. Reverse it. She was freed in June when the New South Wales state government pardoned her for 3 counts of murder and 1 of manslaughter after having spent 20 years in prison. In 1999, her husband had turned over to police copies of her diary where she expressed guilt over their deaths. That was pretty much really the only actual sort of evidence against her. Everything else had been, they believe that that the kids had been smothered over different periods, that various bits and pieces. It was an extraordinarily circumstantial case. During the 7-week trial in 2003, the prosecution alleged that Folbigg had murdered her 4 children by smothering them in periods of frustration. Their case relied on the improbability of all 4 kids dying of natural causes. Because that's a reason to imprison someone for over 2 decades. The improbability of something taking place. It's not that it's beyond reasonable doubt, it's the improbability. On 21 May 2003, Folbigg was found guilty by the New South Wales Supreme Court of 3 counts of murder, 1 count of manslaughter, and 1 count of maliciously inflicting grievous bodily harm. On October 24, 2003, Folbigg was sentenced to 40 years imprisonment with a non-parole period of 30 years. Following an appeal in 2005, her sentence was reduced to 30 years with a non-parole of 25. After years of further research, her legal team petitioned the Attorney General's office, and in 2018, the Attorney General announced an inquiry into the matter to ensure public confidence in the administration of justice. Because there are a whole bunch of scientists saying, no, this isn't based on the improbability, there are a number of significant, reasonable medical reasons why these children all died over a period of 10 years. However, following the inquiry and a 500-page report, a former Chief Judge, Reginald Blanche, of the District Court, found that he did not have any reasonable doubt as to the guilt of Kathleen Folbigg for the offences for which she was committed. Was alleged to have been convicted. That didn't take long. Yes, sweetheart? What's up? I loaded you up with things to colour in and to eat and to watch on TV. What can I possibly do for you, sweetheart? This is the other reason we're watching a video today, just in case I have to get interrupted. What's up, sweetheart? Talk. It's raining today, so we'll probably have to find something to do indoors. So we'll probably play board games and stuff, snakes and ladders and that sort of thing.
Well, I want to play something different.
You want to play something different? Oh, I mean, we'll have to look through the board games. Okay, but I told you Daddy had to work for an hour or so. Can you please go and sit and... Okay, I put number blocks on.
How many more minutes on the...
I literally just started, sweetheart. You know that. 2 hours, okay?
2 hours.
Yes, 2 hours. Thank you. Sorry about that. Where did I get to? Where are we? After the 500-page report. In May 22, a second inquiry was launched following a petition from more than 100 scientists from around the world calling for the governor to pardon Folbigg and providing compelling scientific and medical evidence for each of the deaths. On 5 June 2023, Folbigg was granted an unconditional pardon. However, this was a pardon, not an exoneration. And in November 23, the case was returned to the Criminal Court of Appeal in New South Wales, and on 14 December, almost 21 years after being found guilty, Folbigg was cleared of all charges. So that's her there. That was during the inquiry in 2018, I do believe. Pardoned and released after 20 years in jail over the deaths of her 4 children. Kathleen Folbigg has been pardoned and released after 2 decades in prison over the deaths of her 4 children, following a decision in the by the New South Wales Attorney General Michael Daly. Folbigg, who has always maintained her innocence, had served 20 years of her 25-year sentence since being convicted in 2003 of murdering her 3 children and manslaughter of 1 child. Daly on Monday released summary findings prepared by an inquiry into Folbigg's convictions, led by former State Chief Justice Thomas Bathurst. Bathurst told the Attorney General that he had reached a firm view that there was reasonable doubt as to the guilt of Miss Folbigg for each of the offences for which she was originally tried. I love that one Chief Justice said, no, there's no possibility of reasonable doubt here. And then the other one goes, yeah, no, there's reasonable doubt. There is definitely reasonable doubt. This prompted Daly to recommend the state governor that Folbigg be unconditionally pardoned and released immediately. She was subsequently released from the Clarence Correctional Centre near Grafton shortly after 11 a.m. Folbigg's best friend, Tracy Chapman, thanked all who had contributed to her release and supported her since the death of her children. The past 20 years have been horrific for Kathleen, not least for the pain and suffering that she has endured for the loss of her 4 children. They were gorgeous children. The pardon does not erase Folbigg's convictions, but supporters were on Monday already calling for very significant compensation for her, which she will now be entitled to, now that the Supreme Court has quashed her convictions and fully acquitted her of all 4 charges. She is now entitled to sue the New South Wales state government and receive compensation for false imprisonment for the last 20-odd years. While he would not take a view on Folbigg's innocence, Daly said that it was a tragic case. We've got 4 little bubbas who are dead, we have a husband and a wife who lost each other, a woman who spent 20 years in jail, and a family that never had a chance. You'd not be human if you didn't feel something about that. Peter Yates, a friend and supporter, said Folbigg would be so happy, but noted that she had been locked up for 2 decades, and no one could just wave a magic wand and make it all okay. Compensation is a matter we'll be discussing with the state in due course. I think the people in New South Wales would expect that compensation would be very, very significant. So there you go. Bathurst advised that there was a reasonable possibility that 3 of the children had died of natural causes. In the case of daughters Sarah and Laura Folbigg, there was a reasonable possibility that a genetic mutation known as the CALM2 G114R occasioned their deaths. The counsel assisting in the inquiry, Sophie Callan, senior counsel, had earlier said that there was a persuasive expert evidence that one of the sons, Patrick, may have died from an underlying neurogenetic disorder such as epilepsy. In relation to the death of the 4th child, Caleb, Bathurst said that the coincidence and tendency evidence in which was central to the Crown's case falls away. Bathurst was unable to accept that the proposition that Folbigg had been anything but a caring mother to her child. Is this the dingo lady? No. Surprisingly, Wardrobe, this is Kathleen Folbigg. This is actually potentially a worse case than the Lindy Chamberlain case. People compared this to the Chamberlain case quite substantially, and in any number of cases, it was seen that this was actually a more substantial miscarriage of justice. In relation to the death of the fourth child, Caleb Bathurst found that the coincidence ended. He was he said the diary entries used to convict her were writings of a grieving and possibly depressed mother, blaming herself for the death of each child, as distinct from admissions that she murdered or otherwise harmed them, which is basically what the prosecution used. They took her diary entries that were given to them by her husband at the time, who blamed her for the deaths, and they basically said, here is what we believe to be evidence of her guilt. Daly said that he was open to any legal change that were required to avoid such a situation in the future. New South Wales Greens Justice spokesperson Sue Higginson was jubilant, Jesus Christ, was jubilant that Folbigg had been released and said that it only happened after years of influence and agitation. She's walking, she's outside, she's in sunshine, justice has been done. This is our Lindy Chamberlain case. Higginson also indicated that Folbigg would be pursuing compensation for the 20 years of her life lost. So yeah, this one was pretty rough, and it went... I mean, I actually remember hearing about this as a kid back in 2003. So, what I'm going to do now, guys, is we are going to do the Rumble flip. I have pinned the link in the chat. I should actually put it in the description too, which I might well do. Just give me 2 seconds, because it would make it so much easier. Just because we know that both YouTube and Channel 7 can be arseholes. Did they die a short time together? No, Tina, it was over the course of 10 years. So after one of the children died, they tried to have more. Each of them, I believe, were under the age of 4. I think some of them were actually under the age of 2. But, I mean, given what we know now about sudden infant death syndrome and various other causes, the fact that 2 of the daughters had this genetic anomaly as well, like... that's never going to go away in her mind. That's never going to... because even in the back of her mind, she's going, okay, that means that I caused this through genetics. Because, I mean, theoretically, if that particular chromosome that had that particular genetic marker or whatever, if that had been given to the kids by the husband, there's a good chance that that may never have happened. I mean, I'm just spitballing here. That could well be what she's thinking. I'm just thinking out aloud here. I just got here and thrown out. Sorry, Gimba. Blame YouTube. Not my fault. But, yeah, so we're going to go and watch the 1 hour 26 documentary that Channel 7 put together on this, which actually includes interviews with Kathleen herself, her friends, follows the case. I think they actually speak to the Chief Justice as well. My niece lost her infant son to SIDS. Oh, shit. That's a I'm so sorry to hear that. But, anyway, alright, I'm going to get things ready and prepped, and I will see you all across there. For anyone that is not making the jump, I will see you back here tomorrow. Thank you very much for being here. Let's get ready to rumble! I suck at that. Never mind. Doing it.